The Texas Longhorn football team has its biggest game of the season this weekend. Nico Harrison was fired from the Dallas Mavericks, and are we worried about the volleyball team? We'll discuss all this and more on tonight's show of College Crossfire.
You know, I really think that Texas fans should start buying their tickets to the Cheez It Bowl because I think that's where we're ending up this season.
I respect the game. I'm going to get up, grab the football, go back with my teammates and give the ball to the ref.
Shout out to the Tavern and the Austin Gooners. No, not that type of gooner.
Get out of my face. I've seen enough out of you.
Good evening and welcome to another show of the best debate show on the 40 acres, College Crossfire. I'm your host, TJ Krulowitz. We're super excited to get this show started. But before we do that, I want to share that today's show is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. So plan your ride anywhere in Austin this weekend at capmetro.org. For those who've never tuned in before, here are the rules for tonight's show. There'll be 3 rounds containing 3 questions each, and for every round I'm going to dish out points in the amounts of 3, 2, and 1 based on our contestants' answers. Whoever has the most points from their answers by the end of the 3rd round will be crowned as this week's College Crossfire champion and will get the return for our next episode. But there's a catch. Everyone must know before we begin our 3rd and final round, better known as Rapid Fire, is worth double the points, meaning no lead is safe. Also, our contestants have not yet been able to see or prepare for these questions whatsoever, so they'll have to think on their feet and come up with their idea of the best possible answer. Now, if there's a tie by the end of Rapid Fire, I have a bonus question ready that will help determine our Crossfire champion once and for all. So now that we've reviewed the rules, let's introduce our contestants. And on first base, the 1-0 GOAT who's returning for an attempted repeat. Welcome back, Tyler Strempel.
Hey, happy to be here. I heard no one has won 2 at all this season, and I'm here to fix that.
Okay, all right. And at second base, looking to make sure that that doesn't happen, and also making her first appearance on College Crossfire. Welcome to the show, Addie Chhay.
Hi. I'm very nervous, very excited. I think I'm ready, maybe.
I think you're ready. And on third base, wave those terrible towels for Colin Flickinger.
That was the worst game I've ever watched. I mean, Aaron Rodgers needs to get hip replacement surgery and retire. And also, yeah, it just sucked. You know, they call me emotionless because I have to watch the Steelers every week. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough task to do. I apologize for you being a Steelers fan. It doesn't get much better where I'm from, but hey, I mean, you did say that the Aaron Rodgers signing was going to be bad before it even happened, so I'll give you that credit. But we've introduced our contestants. It's time to begin the game. So the first question I have for you guys. This weekend, like I said before, will be the biggest game for Texas football as they travel to Athens, Georgia to play the number 5 ranked team in the nation, the Georgia Bulldogs. With serious playoff implications on the line, it should be a good one. With Texas's already bad track record with Georgia in just 2 years of being in the SEC, you can't deny this game will be a pretty tall task for the Longhorns to come out victorious. So to you, what will be the final score and what will be the biggest reason for the victory for the team you think will win? Tyler, we'll start off with you.
Listen, you can't discount any team in the SEC. I just actually reserved my SEC championship ticket just in case. Just kidding. No, Georgia's gonna win. Listen, I would pick Texas in a year where our offense was like competent, but Texas's O-line is going to be the reason that Texas loses this game. Georgia's defense may not be quite as good as Texas's, but they are actually very close. In terms of points per game, they only allow 3 more average points per game. Meanwhile, Georgia's offense outranks Texas in yards and points per game by a lot. So if Texas can't score and Georgia's defense can hold it down, I don't see this being a particularly close one. I see it being a 2-3 possession game. I'm going to go 31-14 Georgia. 31-14 Georgia. All right. And yeah, they definitely do have a superior offensive output. Addie?
I am very hopeful. But I feel like I just like a good story too. So I really want Texas to win. I hope Texas wins. I feel like it's going to be close. I think because we have that history with them and because there's like that story, I think it kind of pushes Texas to play for more. So I think it might be 24-21, but I think since we have like been loving overtime this season, I think we might go into overtime and have a nice little repeat, and hopefully Texas comes out on top.
All right, so 24-21. Do you think it's Texas or Georgia? You're saying say with your chest. You think it's Texas? All right. They definitely have some underdog motivation. Colin.
I'm gonna go with 24-17 Georgia in regulation, mainly because I think that the combination of Kermie Smart and Glenn Schumann absolutely runs circles schematically around Steve Sarkisian. Sark has been notably calling plays terribly this season, and the Bulldogs defense has one of the scariest linebacker cores I've seen, and especially with last year, Kirby Smart was able to scheme up 7 sacks against the Texas Longhorns quarterbacks. But this year, with an even worse O-line than we had last year. Last year was one of the best in the country. I don't see any way how Arch Manning doesn't leave the game with a second concussion.
Well, I mean, talking about the Georgia game last year that happened in Austin, not particularly the SEC championship. Surprising that Quinn Ewers didn't come out with an injury. I guess he was already injured, so to say. But, yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys that Georgia's definitely going to be, well, Tyler and Colin, with the fact that Georgia just schematically and also just their offense is definitely superior to Texas. But I also like the idea that Texas, you know, they first of all, they do have an elite defense. They're having their weapons come back, and Michael Taft, Jelani McDonald should be playing. And they do have this underdog motivation. They have their backs to the wall, and I think with that, this game could be pretty close. Colin, I'm going to give you the 3 here. I agree with your take. I think it will be close. Addie, I'm going to give you the 2 here. And Tyler's already complaining. I'm going to have to give you the 1. You mentioned the offensive line, which is true. Georgia's defensive 7 is very impressive. But these last 2 games, Sarkisian has moved things around, and it has been working. So we'll see if that kind of limits Georgia's front 7 a little bit. Time will tell, I guess. So going on to the next question. We still have a lot more questions to go. With the college football playoffs nearing, it's almost a toss-up on who will be number 12 in the playoffs, a.k.a. kind of the auto bid for the group of 5 team and, the group of 5 conferences. So especially with last week's projected team, Memphis, they got BTA from Tulane. So now it's really up in the air. So to you, who do you think will be the auto bid for the group of 5 conferences? And Addie, you'll go first.
I think it's going to be James Madison. They're currently 6-0 in conference play. They only have 1 loss, which was back in September. They have a very consistent offense, which does like multiple spread. I think it really tires out like their opponent's defense. Speaking of that, their defensive line is also one of the best in the G5, like among the G5 teams, which really is able to like capitalize off the mistakes of their opponents. They have 3 games left, and I think they should be able to win out, and I think they will get that number 12 spot.
All right, yeah, James Madison, I believe 8-1, yeah, 8-1. Colin?
So you said which group of 5 team would get the auto bid spot, but I think it's a question of which 2 teams will get the auto bid spot. I think that Duke is going to win out and win the ACC championship, and I think they're going to be ranked lower than a USF team that goes 10-2 and wins the American, and a JMU team that goes 11-1 and wins the Sun Belt. Now, Duke's remaining schedule is UVA without Chandler Morris, who has been their lifeline this year, and then Wake Forest and UNC, both of which are very much winnable games. The only challenge would be in the ACC championship against probably Georgia Tech, who is going to not make the playoffs because they were going to lose badly to Georgia the week beforehand. And so those 2 teams, JMU and USF, who are by far the best 2 teams in their conferences, are going to make it to the playoffs because they are going to end up ranked higher than 8-4 Duke that lost to UConn last week.
Hey, that is a possibility. You know, that's a bold prediction. All right, Tyler.
What a hypothetical. That was really complicated. Okay, so listen, I think this is good answers, but I think the answer to the question who's going to be the Group of 5 auto bid is who wins the American. That's really the main question here, because of all the Group of 5 conferences, the American is the premier one. I've said it for years. If there's a Power 6, it was the American, just barely. Now, I'm looking at the teams, and yes, South Florida has the best resume. They beat a Florida team that was ranked but never should have been ranked. But North Texas has the 5th best offense in the country. This is including Power 4 teams.
They do.
They have their quarterbacks Drew Modemaker, I think I'm getting that somewhat right. 2,700 passing yards on the season, 21-4 touchdown interception ratio. Their rest of the season is Rice, Temple, and UAB. Easy win, easy win, easy win. Then I think they're going to get to the American Championship, where I think they can get some revenge against USF, clinch that 12th spot in the playoff by winning the American.
Okay, yeah, North Texas. You guys basically put out all the top answers that I really had. I think that I'm going to have to give. This is a tough one. I think the most possible outcome right here is James Madison and just James Madison. I think that the ACC, like Tyler said, that is a pretty crazy hypothetical, but it is possible. The ACC is a mess. I know you want to say something, but I'm gonna have to stop you there. All right, the points are already dotted down, but I'm gonna give Addie the 3 here. The next one I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give Colin the 2 here. I want to give Tyler. There's no crying in Crossfire, okay? Look, I love North Texas. All right, I toured there when I was looking for colleges. I thought it was a beautiful campus, and you know the thing is that they lost really badly to South Florida. It was 63 to, I believe, 31, something like that. 36.
Not much better.
Yeah, Chris Paul hit a 3 that got the lead down to 42 type moment. They're going to have a lot more work ahead of them to be able to get that revenge against South Florida, because you don't just give up 63 points to a team and
at home, by the way.
Yeah, at home and be able to stop them the next time around. So they do have a good offense, but I'm going to have to give you the 1 here. Again, still got a lot of game to play here tonight. So last question of the first block. For a moment, Texas volleyball almost felt unbeatable. That was until they lost 2 straight 2 weeks ago against Texas A&M and Kentucky. With those, the Longhorns have dropped down to number 4 in the recent rankings for volleyball, despite bouncing back against Florida following the 2 losses. So my question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you guys that this team won't make the championship, and why? And I think that's funny, but we're talking about the championship, okay? Not SEC championship, the national championship. Hope we made that clear.
Okay, if we're going national championship, I'd say 5. Look, I'm not completely saying that this team is done yet. Like, losses are a part of college sports, especially against such a really good Kentucky team, and good teams do bounce back like Texas did against Florida. You know, this Texas team is still a top team. They lead the country in assists per game or per set with 14.03, and they are second in hitting percentage, only behind Nebraska with .308. You know, this is still a really good team, and I would, if I had to pick a team from the SEC to make it to the national championship game, it would still be Texas, despite that loss to Kentucky. So, you know, 5 on the panic meter. I'm not too far gone yet.
All right, Colin with a 5. Tyler?
I'm going to have to also agree. I think it's a 5. Texas, in those 2 losses, the first one against A&M, they lost a block battle, which I think is the most important battle we have to win. I talked last week about winning the rebound battle in basketball. Blocks is the thing I can say is the most similar to that. If you don't win blocks, you're giving up points to the other team. And then against Kentucky, they lost the dig battle. There's a little bit of inconsistency issues in those 2 areas for Texas, and there has been all year, especially in close games. The reason I put them at 5 is because I think it's basically 50-50 on whether or not they're going to win either of those battles on any given game. So I'm putting them at a 5, because if they can turn on the Jets in the national tournament, they absolutely have a shot at getting to the championship game and winning the title. But it's all about, can they be consistent or not? And to me, that's a coin toss. So I'm going to say 5. Kind of worried, but if they can turn it on, they'll be fine.
All right, and then Addie.
I feel like I'm at like a 4. I think they just kind of lost their rhythm for a moment and they lost their momentum, but I feel like when you're playing as much as they do, you're going to eventually lose your rhythm, you're going to lose your momentum. You're going to kind of fall apart for a minute, but I feel like they kind of found that again when they played Florida and they beat them in the 4 sets. So I feel like slowly they're coming back. They are a very strong, like, deep team. I think with the experience and the new talent just kind of melding, they've shown, like, all season that they're a very strong team overall. And like Tyler said, I do think that, like, one of our biggest challenges is blocking at the net, but I think if they can, like, work on that, then it makes them very diverse both offensively and defensively. I know they have 2 games left, so I feel like with that they kind of keep that momentum going. They can finish out their season with wins. So.
All right, yeah, so I'm glad that you went something different. Usually I try to reward the person that goes different, but I do agree with the 5 out of 10 rating. I mean, I want to, like, keep an eye out on it, but still, like, basically pack your bags for Kansas City almost at a point. And so with that, I think I'm going to give Tyler the 3 here. I like that you brought up the 2 biggest points, the digs and the blocks, which is something that they have been inconsistent with this year, and that's something that they can be worried about. But overall, this team is still good enough to bounce back and, you know, win in different areas to eventually, you know, get to the top and play Nebraska in the championship, because we know they're going to play Nebraska in the championship. Colin, I'm going to give you the 2 here because I also liked what you brought up, the hitting efficiency, all the different stats right there. And then Addie, I'm going to give you the 1. Doesn't mean that you're wrong, but unfortunately I like their points a little bit better. So we've gotten through the first round, but don't go away. We still have plenty to talk about. Coming up on the next block, we'll talk the Week 10 slate of the NFL, the Mavericks firing Nico Harrison. We'll be back on the ice because I, quite frankly, love hearing people act like they know hockey. So all this and much more on College Crossfire. Facts. Welcome back to College Crossfire, and after one round, we got a very, very close matchup. Right now we have Colin in first with 7 points, Addie in second right now with 6, and Tyler sitting in last right now at 5, but like I said, just 1 point each, right neck and neck right now. So we had a lot to talk about in the first round. We have even more to talk about right now. So here we go to the second round, starting with question number 1. The Tennessee Titans might be positioned as the worst team in the NFL right now at 1-8, but there are a lot of other teams who are currently sitting at 2-8 and 2-7 with a little less than 2 months left in the regular season. So to you, who gets the first overall pick, aka the worst record in the league this year, and why? Yes, we're talking about the 26th draft already. Colin.
So my first thought was it would probably be the Titans, and then I thought, what team has been like struggling the worst in the past couple of weeks? And the Giants instantly came to mind for me. They lost Malik Neighbors to an ACL tear. Cam Scatterbo's ankle is basically just dust particles at this point. They
Turned
fired,
into a streamer.
Yeah. How you eat your tacos, TJ? They eat Brian Dabble got fired, and they got an interim head coach. Their next 3 games are against the Packers, the Lions, and then the Patriots, who are 3 of the best teams in the NFL right now. I think all the odds are stacked against them. They are going to finish the season without a win because the momentum of the next 3 games, them just getting absolutely destroyed, is going to basically kill any will that there was to play.
They got to investigate those Giants. I don't know how they lost Denver, and then they eventually lost to Chicago this past week, which, how? Addie? Caleb Williams is not the GOAT, but Addie.
Okay. So I feel like it might be the Raiders. Okay, so right now they're 2-7. I feel like they're gonna possibly beat the Browns and the Giants. I know they play the Broncos at home, but I know like that atmosphere is gonna be crazy, but I feel like they're just not gonna be able to pull it off. I also think they're gonna lose to the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. I just feel like they're gonna lose. I feel like their defense can't keep up with these offenses. I just don't think that they have the momentum. I think they'd really benefit from that first round pick, and I think with that they really need a defensive player because their defense cannot keep up.
That's true. They have, but I mean, they could easily benefit from an offensive player too. They are terrible, but they do have a very tough schedule coming up. Tyler?
Listen, sometimes the best ideas are the one that is inside the box. I'm just going to stick with Tennessee. I truly think this is the worst team in the league. They have the worst offense. It's not even close. They have 0 offensive identity. They're the 8th worst defense in the league. 6 of their final 8 games are against teams with better records. and like significantly better records. And I don't think I picked them to be the better
everyone
team.
Has a better record.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think I picked them to be the better team in even a 2-7 battle against the Raiders because they have no identity. They are terrible. They fired Brian Callahan mid-season. They're an interim head coach team with no offensive identity, a terrible defense. They have literally nothing going for them. Their only okay wide receiver is out, and that's like Calvin Ridley. And even then, okay is a strong word. Plus, I think if you're the Titans, you try to lose. This is a tank year. You try to get number 1 overall, and you try to get someone to anchor the defense with Cam Ward. And I think with number 1, you got to take the best player on the board. And right now, Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame.
Interesting pick. I mean, yeah, Tony Pollard's not really moving the needle for Tennessee right now as they're starting a running back. That would definitely make them a little just a little bit better. It's still not playoff ready, obviously, but. Yeah, the Tennessee Titans are the basic answer here, but I think I'm going to go with the 3 here just because I think that I think that the Giants, I think that they are not going to, they might not win another game either, but Tennessee also doesn't look like they won their first game of the season, right? They've gone 8 straight. Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't see them winning another game. They haven't been really particularly close in most of the games, and so I think I have to go with the basic answer here. You did reason it well, so I'll give you the 3 here, Tyler. Colin, I'm going to give you the 2 because the Giants, I swear they're doing something to make sure that they lose these games because they have no business losing some of the games that they have. Addie, I like your answer too, but I think that there are other teams that are at 2-7, 2-8 right now that have better contention for the first pick. Someone like the Jets who just had a fire sale, and also I think that the Browns have a better chance, but I think that the Raiders is still a good answer. Moving on to the next question, and my favorite question, boy oh boy. November 11th is now known as Mavericks Liberation Day. Known terrorist of Dallas and 4th-year GM Nico Harrison has finally been relieved from his duties in the Big D. His most notable moves are trading Luka Doncic, losing Jalen Brunson in free agency, and trading a first-round pick for Christian Wood. Not to even mention the Quentin Grimes trade. With the Mavericks being through so much in this past year, the team and management still have to do so much to win back the fan base, become competitive again. So to you, what should be the first move the Mavericks do in the post-Nico Harrison era to win the fan base back? And this is a highly emotional question to me, so your answers mean a lot. All right, I'm putting you guys into the Mavericks GM vacancy. What's your first move, Addie?
I think we need to hire another GM, obviously, but one with a lot more credibility. And I think the GM's first move, along with the franchise, should really be to just come out and talk to the public and talk to their fan base directly, to own up, like, speak the truth, like, really just, like, state the fact that they're in a public rebuild. They're trying to rebuild their image, you know, because I think with that Luka trade and everything else, I feel like any moves they make to their roster are going to come under skepticism and scrutiny. So I think being able to, like, rebuild that trust and connection with their fan base is the beginning of what they need in order to just rebuild their franchise overall.
So you're saying come out publicly. Like, what do you want them to do? Like microphone before a game starts and being like,
I feel
this
like
trade sucked. We're gonna.
I think they just need to, like,
give Luka his statue.
They really just need to own it, because I think it kind of also shows that, like, from the top to the bottom, the entire franchise is trying to change for the better. So I think just coming out publicly with the truth. It's probably a PR nightmare, but
it is definitely.
I feel like it'll help.
No, yeah, they can't go wrong with trying to do that. Tyler, what's your next?
I'm gonna go with a roster move. Listen, you have Cooper Flagg, who is a generational talent, and you don't have time to faff around with anything. It's time to rebuild. And now, I'm not just going to say the move is going to be to rebuild, because you're going to need multiple trades, multiple moves to do that. You need a younger core. You want to make sure that you grow a core around Flagg so they can coalesce, have chemistry. But right now, in either by the trade deadline or in the offseason, what you need to do is get good returns for the people who are still performing well but may not have the right chemistry. And I'm going to go straight with it. You need to trade Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, trade him, get some younger players back, maybe get some draft picks, because right now Flagg can do what Davis does, and Flagg kind of does do what Davis does, so Davis is kind of vestigial at this point. You can trade Davis, get some people back. He's 20 points per game. He's still very effective. Trade Anthony Davis away, get some people back. It may suck in the short term, but as someone who is very familiar with rebuilds as a Houston sports fan, it is the right thing to do.
no rebuilder, the Houston Rockets. I will say, yeah, that's a good answer, Colin.
So if I'm the GM, my first move is to fire myself and hire former Warriors GM Bob Myers, who basically is the architect of that Warriors dynasty. He has a great working relationship with the current Mavericks CEO, Rick Welts. And I think that if you are trying to, reconnect with this fan base, you need to get a new face in there. You cannot look back to the past. No Dirk Nowitzki is the new GM. No guy who was part of the Mark Cuban committee to try to find the new, GM. You have to try to move forward, and the best way to do that is by looking at who has historically been the best at this job, who can manage this team well, and in my opinion, that is Bob Myers.
Interesting, yeah, Bob Myers. I mean, I certainly agree with you that these moves have to transition into being a different sort of leadership. Their interim GMs right now are people who worked with Nico on a daily basis, so it's not like there's too much change right now. So I do agree with you. I will say that the best point here, the one that spoke with me the most, was trading Anthony Davis. I think that this offense, the system that they have, was built around an offensive playmaker, not a big man that's injured for 75% of your games. Trading Anthony Davis, getting the most value you can for that, will definitely be the right answer here. Colin, I'm going to give you the 2 here because I do like the fact that you do talk about getting new leadership, getting a new way of getting, just not having the same kind of mind or different kind of mindset. I'm sorry, I don't know why I couldn't find that word. Same mindset as Nico Harrison. You want to try to find something different to win the fans back. Addie, I liked your point. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going out and saying that the trade sucked, kind of, but I do see that there is some kind of a little weirdness in that, and the fact that it's just like you still have the players that you traded for on the roster right now, so you do have to, at a point, not say that the trade is bad just to save those those players. Sorry, I'm stuttering like crazy, but still a great answer. Moving on to the next question. We are starting to witness some young NHL stars like Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini starting to reach their potential, with both players ranking top 5 in points scored. However, some familiar faces like Nathan MacKinnon, who leads the league in points currently with 29, are still dominating per usual. To you, who wins the Art Ross Trophy, aka the player with the most points in a season? And I believe it's Tyler that's starting it.
I'd like to begin my answer by advocating to get Houston, Texas an NHL team. I just wanted to slip that in there for a second because I would watch the crap out of that. Okay, anyways, I think this is another answer where it's really simple. You just go with the basic answer. The Colorado Avalanche have the best offense in the National Hockey League. They have the most goals per game at 4. They have the most assists at 118. A surefire way to win a trophy for most points in a season is to be the best offensive player on the best offensive team. I think Nathan MacKinnon's just going to go pole to P1. Just absolutely, he's going to get the Art Ross Trophy. He is. I just made an F1 reference. Sorry. I was trying to figure out a way to say from the beginning to the end. He is the best offensive player on the best offensive team in the league. And I think it's just that easy. He'll continue to score. He'll continue to assist, make goals. I think it's just an easy one for him to win this year.
All right, Nathan MacKinnon. Addie, who do you have?
Wait.
Oh, sorry. Colin.
So I also have Nathan MacKinnon, but not just because he's the best player. He's also surrounded by one of the best offensive groups in the NHL. He has the reincarnation of Bobby Orr and Cale Makar sitting behind him, the best offensive defenseman in the NHL. Devin Tays is one of the also top 6 best defensemen in the NHL, in my personal opinion. There's a reason why he's going to make the Canada Olympics roster. Martin Necas on his right is absolutely incredible when he's playing with Nathan MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon has had one of the best 3-year stretches in NHL history. He has a 99.98 projected wins above replacement, which is only second over the past 3 years to Connor McDavid, who is best player in the NHL. He is incredibly shifty with the puck. He has one of the best finishing records in the game. He has I think the best expected goals for percentage in the last 3 years in the NHL to this point in the season. And he's already 6 points ahead in the point standings in front of people who, like it or not, do not have as great of a surrounding cast as him. And that's really what you need to get the Art Ross Trophy. So I'm going to go with Nate MacKinnon.
All right, Colin. That was a barrage of stats right there. Addie?
girlfriend, I'm nervous. But
Come on.
okay,
You gotta say it with your chest.
I think we're like in a new era of hockey, so I actually think it's gonna be a younger player. I like the last 5 years have been like 2 players, been Connor McDavid and Nikita Kucherov, but I feel like we've been hearing so many new names this year. So okay, I think it's gonna be Leo Carlson. Listen, guys. He's got,
Yeah.
that's the most emotion I've seen from you.
Oh my God.
Okay, anyways, so
Okay, that might be.
okay, so
Addie, you gotta compose yourself here. We gotta finish this point off.
he's got 26 points so far in 16 games. He's averaging 1.62 points per game, which, looking back at both Connor and Nikita's seasons where they were averaging 1.5 to 1.6 points, I think right now he's currently doing better, and I think if he stays on this track, I think he has a really, really high chance of winning the trophy. And I think because of that, we're starting a new era of hockey because, you know what, it's 2025, 2026. Welcome to the new era. Okay.
Welcome to the new era. Hey, that's a good closer right there. That's chills. But no, you had a great. This is a good one. Leo Carlson, he's a great player. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if he's up to Nathan McKinnon's level yet.
He's not even top 3 in his draft class.
Okay, stop.
So we're gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to give with. No, you had a good story. Unfortunately, I think if you would have just said Connor McDavid and passed the mic, I would have probably given you the 3 here because I think that Connor McDavid.
Connor's way down there, girl. I had to scroll
Connor
to find
McDavid.
him.
No, you did not have to scroll. He's like top.
No, with the new points rankings up to today, he's like
Yeah, you have to
solid
scroll.
It's very young season. I think if it would have been McDavid or Kucherov, which is Kucherov's up there first of all,
Safe.
it would have been a good chance. But I'm gonna have to move on and say Colin gets the 3 points here with the Nathan McKinnon points. All the stats barrage. He knows what he's talking about. Talked about his support cast. Tyler, I'm gonna give you the 2 here, and Addie, I'm gonna give you the 1 here. It's 2 blocks down, and only 1 to go. We all know what's coming up next. Rapid fire. The points are doubled, so that means this game has not been lost for anybody. And if the contenders want to win, they will have to go all gas, no brakes. Don't turn off your screen. We got the best part of the night coming up next. But now we've got the best round, College Crossfire, coming up right now. Before we get into that, we do have to say the scores. Colin right now leading at 14 points, Tyler right behind at 13 points, and Addie at 9 points. But don't get discouraged because, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for rapid fire. Once again, the points are doubled, and the panelists have not prepared for these questions. It's going to be all gas, no brakes from here on out. So, contestants, you ready? Because we're going. Yeah, there, I like the enthusiasm. All right, first question. Buzzer beaters, walk-offs, game-winning goals. All the things I just said are all things that can happen in a sport to end a game in one of the most exciting ways possible. Almost every kid dreams of being put in a situation to be a hero in a sport they love. So to you, what would be your favorite way to win a game and why? This could be any sport, any circumstance.
Walk-off grand slam. Easy answer. Walk-off grand slam in a playoff series. There is nothing better than your team being down by 3 or by 2 or whatever, and you get offense going and you hit a walk-off home run. I mean, every kid who's ever played baseball has imagined in their head, I just won a championship for a Major League Baseball team. Walk-off grand slam.
All right, yeah, walk-off grand slam.
So I grew up watching swimming, and there was this one laugh all you want, but when Michael Phelps chased down the France relay swimmer, or Jason Lezak, sorry, not Michael Phelps, chased down the France relay swimmer in the 200 medley relay, 2008 China Olympics, from a full second behind off the blocks, and beat him to help Michael Phelps win the most amount of gold medals in an Olympics. That was incredible, because not only are you facing the other team's best swimmer, the other country's best swimmer, but you are saying, I am the best in the world at this event. You cannot beat me with a 1-second lead. A chase down relay win in the Olympics for a gold medal.
For a gold medal.
Okay.
I was not expecting that, but
I think about this often because I get so much FOMO that I will never get to be like a football player with that like winning touchdown, okay? Because I feel like I would have the best like touchdown celebration. So I get so much FOMO. So I feel like if I had like a winning play, it would be like I'd want to be the wide receiver who just caught this like beautiful pass and got the game-winning touchdown.
Okay, so game-winning touchdown, walk-off, grand slam, and then come back in a relay race.
A second behind to start off the blocks to win an Olympic gold medal.
That's some pretty big stuff, Colin. I can't tell you guys who won those points. Again, the points are doubled. We'll find out who wins Crossfire by the end of the show. We still got 2 questions left. The first one is the NFL has been sending teams internationally for a while now. But this year, they have had a high of 7 games played internationally. They've introduced new countries to their slate this year, like Spain. But the world is a big place. To you, where should the NFL play a game in the world and why? Tyler's going first again.
What is the best outdoor environment for an NFL game? Snow game. Play a game in Canada. Get December. Go into Canada. You know that they've got stadiums. They've got CFL. I'm sure that they would have something there.
Buffalo,
They'd get something going. But
what
no,
city
I mean, the CFL,
specifically?
I'll go with somewhere like, you know what would be fun because they've already got teams there. Go into like the French Quarter. Do something fun with that. I think go into the French Quarter. Let's say like Quebec. I'll say Quebec. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a province.
Sorry, I meant to say Montreal.
Montreal.
I meant to say Montreal because they don't even have the Expos. Give them something.
That's true. Montreal. But they do have the Canadians still. Addie?
I think we go to Greece and we play in the Colosseums. Like, you know how they used to... Huh? Oh, wait. You go to Rome. Geography is hard. Anyway, I think you play in the Colosseums, like, you know how they used to, like, do the Olympics and, like, all the, like, big games, but this time, you know, there's obviously no, like, gore. It's just football. But I feel like it'd be fun to play in, like, that big environment.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good idea, though, Colin.
You know, there's a lot of Western countries being mentioned. I think we need to bring it to Japan. Look, Japan has always shown out for the sporting events they get. Formula One Grand Prix, the baseball games that we play there. I think that if we brought a football game to Japan, there would be such an incredible turnout that it would become a yearly thing.
I think that's
local time. Who cares
no. I think
what?
That is true. You do have to talk about the time differences right there, and that might make it logistically a little difficult. But Japan,
how cool would it be?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
so, anyways, so again, tell who won the points by the end of the round. So we got the last question of rapid fire now. So whether big or small, every team has a devoted fan base that follows everything they do and posts online consistently about them. I'm sure everyone on the stage has had at least one negative experience with another fan base. So my question to you to end rapid fire, who is the worst fan base in all of sports to you and why? And if you can tell a personal experience that happened with you, it will help your case. I need targeted hating, not just general hating like the Cowboys and the Longhorns get because everyone else hates them. Tell me why you personally hate this team.
6-year-old me got a beer poured on me by a Flyers fan. I despise Philly fans, but Flyers fans specifically are the worst.
Parker's telling you to hurry up. 'Cause she
Okay,
doesn't
we got
like
a
the
short
answer.
time. It's Flyers fans.
I was watching the World Series in 2017, and my city had just got hit by a hurricane. And someone in the stands at Dodger Stadium put Yasiel Puig's face on a satellite image of the hurricane that had just killed that many people and put 60 inches of rain on Houston. So, yeah, the Dodgers are the worst fan base in the league. And also, I
That's
hate the
insane.
Dodgers in general, so they absolutely win. You don't put that. It killed people, man. It killed people.
Oh, that's. Yeah.
Oh.
Addie, I don't know how you follow that up. That's a pretty that's a pretty good reason right there, Addie.
So I don't have that much trauma. I was just gonna say the Maple Leafs. I feel like they always think they're gonna win. They're just very like Austin Matthews is not doing anything, guys. They're too much. And like I'm sorry, Canada, but it's just not happening. Canada, you're not gonna win. It didn't happen this year. It didn't even happen in baseball. Canada didn't win there, so I'm sorry. It's just not happening.
Sheesh. Yeah. All right. The Maple Leafs. Okay. Real quick before I dot these questions up, was that beer purposely spilled on you?
Oh, my God.
It was purposely,
My
with intention.
yes, it was a purposeful beer. He hold it over my head, turned it down.
What?
Yeah, because I lie for points knowledge.
Oh man.
Actually, I would, but I'm not lying.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. This is a tough one to grade right here. All right, let me add these up real quick. Okay. Carry the 2. We got this. Sorry, guys. All right. I don't suck at math. This is a lot of process right here. That was a pretty packed last question right there, rapid fire. So, I'm glad all you guys decided to spend your Wednesday night with us. This was a fantastic show, but as we all know, there can only be one winner. And that winner is, drumroll, wave those terrible towels, it is Colin Flickinger with 28 points. Look at him, he's already pissed. You know what, you want me to give the win to somebody else?
I'll take it.
Yeah, you better. You better. You got FaceTime?
I don't really know what to say. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't expecting to win. I thought Tyler would take it, but I'll take it. Yeah, Flyers fans suck, all of them. So. Oh look, I can't show emotion.
Wow.
Wow. Who would have guessed? I'm still on camera. Okay, like I don't know.
It was
Are
an
we gonna
impressive
take me
showing.
off, or
Yeah, you might need to close this out. You might need to close the show out. Is it back on me? I can't even
it
see.
is back on you.
All right, that was an impressive showing, and we can't wait to see you guys back here next week next week, Colin, to try to repeat. Thank you to everyone who makes this show possible, from the contestants to the in-studio personnel, all the people in Master Control, especially our executive producer, Gabriel Silva. And to you, the audience, thanks for watching. Remember to tune into our other shows here at TSTV Sports, which include the 1-0 Sports Show on Friday at 11 and College Press Box next Tuesday at 6. We're glad you joined us here for College Crossfire and hope to see you next Wednesday at 9. This has been TJ Krulwitz. Have a great night.